Richards going to scoot in there alone. It pinballs to the crease.
Let's get it.
Oh my God! Here we go.
You're listening to the Pod Street Bullies Podcast with your hosts, Derek.
How you gonna get it, Bobby?
John. Matt Casey.
Unnecessary, but totally necessary.
And Cody.
What's not to love?
Welcome to the holiday episode, ladies and gentlemen, of the Pod Street Bullies.
The
My name is Derek.
non-denominational tree. Happy
Gotta ruin it right off the bat. I'm Derek for a second time, in case you couldn't hear me over John's shitty voice.
And I'm John. Happy holidays, everybody. Ho ho. Forgot what I was doing for a minute.
I'm straying away from the normal intro here, but the Matts are here. Matt Casey.
Hey, happy holidays, folks.
And Holiday Hoagie.
How we doing, boys?
Oh God,
Not as good as you, brother.
It's like getting a pair of socks under the tree. Like that's what we got with Holiday Hoagie.
He's walking over to his computer going, how dry I am, how wet I'll be.
Oh my
if
God.
I
A
can't
gritty holiday sweater.
find
Dude, that's
a
Absolutely.
place
Well,
to be.
well. I'm sick and tired of John
Cheers,
singing already,
boys.
and we're
Happy
not even
holidays.
2 minutes in.
Cheers.
Hey, cheers.
What
Cheers,
are we
Tom.
all drinking tonight?
A beer like a normal person on a Wednesday night. You lushes.
Irish whiskey, baby.
Whiskey
waiting on-
Wednesday, baby.
Oh, I'm drinking a cranberry mule. Thank you for asking.
You douchebag.
I mean, that's pretty on brand for you, Casey.
You peasants.
Oh, so good. Enjoy
All
your
right.
whiskey.
You nerds.
I don't know what
Anyways.
you're possibly talking about.
We've got some actual hockey to talk about here. A lot of it, to be honest, that there's been a ton of news unfolding here in Flyerland. First, though, what we're going to do, because it is the holiday episode, not really because it's the holiday episode, but we're at that point in the year where it's pretty fair, I think, to judge this team based off of their results that we've gotten to this point. So this is the state of the team, folks. 33 games in, the Flyers are 11, 15, and 7, 29 points, good for 7th in the Metro, second to last in the Eastern Conference, and tied for 27th in the NHL. John, you're the president right now, and you're giving a state of the team address. This was a terrible idea. Why did I even pose this
Terrible
way?
statement.
This is,
Oh,
yeah.
All
right, give us your state of the team.
I think that this team, well, Hoagie's gone.
Oh,
There he
shucks.
goes. Anyway, I think that this team, from a talent standpoint, stinks on ice. But I think that, in terms of setting the standard, I really think they're close. I mean, you watch this team, and I think that a hardworking culture has been established. I think that the players who are gonna buy in are buying in fully, and we're starting to see the players that maybe won't be on this team for very long, or at least next.
Well, who do you
season.
reference, sir?
Whoever could it be?
Methinks he rhymes with 7 days.
Wow, that was awesome.
You like
Coincidentally,
that?
could be the amount of time he has left in Philadelphia.
But I think, in terms of the state of this team, I think that the culture is being set. The talent is still missing, and obviously that's like the next big step.
Just that little.
Boy.
Just that little, talent.
Just yep. All right. Well, Casey, your state of the team here.
Yeah, I think hardworking is the definition of this team, and I'm trying to think of a synonym for gritty. other than hardworking, but like gritty is the sort of definition
Blue
of
collar.
this team. Blue collar. There you go. There you go. They work their bag off. They can't quite get the goals, and even sometimes when they do get the goals, they, something muffs up. But I would say I'd rather watch this team play any day of the week than the last 2 years teams plays.
100%.
The biggest
Absolutely.
question and the biggest amazement I have is I cannot believe there are 5 teams lower than us in the standings. Like it is that boggles my mind. I can't wait to play them. Can't wait to play them. Disney on Ice week. Here we go.
Oh, the 1 week every year we look forward to. I can't wait for that too.
Well, what is it? Anaheim has like 2 regulation wins or something at this point. Didn't
It's
they?
bad.
Oh,
It's
is it
really
that
bad in
bad?
Anaheim.
I think they just recently got their 2nd regulation win.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'll look
it's
at it like last night against Columbus.
9. They're 9, 21, and 3. But that's overall like overtime wins
Right,
included. Their worst, or no, Chicago's worst by 3 points. They've got 7 wins.
I look
Not
at
much better.
the game last night, and us as Flyers fans and Philly fans in general are just like, oh, it's a conspiracy. Oh, poor us. Like we bitch and moan at like the earliest thing and think the whole world's against us. But then you looked at Columbus's roster and you're like, they're missing 11 people off their regular roster. And it's like, could be worse. Could be worse. And they still gave us a game, but it could be worse.
It's easy for us to look at a team like Toronto who's missing like a handful of guys, and they're like, "Oh my god, this is such a terrible roster." I'm like, you have Tavares, Matthews, and Marner healthy. Shut the hell up.
We're missing our four biggest money eaters on this team. I'm not gonna say our most talented. Our 4 biggest money eaters.
Good way to put it.
They're missing a handful of people, but it's like not their top line, so they're surviving.
Yeah,
I mean, if you were going to tell me that Columbus is the place people go to die, I'd be like, well, kind
We're
of
not
makes
wrong.
sense.
Yeah,
all right, Hoagie, your state of the team here.
we are what we are.
Are
We're
we?
only 9 points out of the wild card spot. Come on, you
All
got
right,
it.
Chuck. All right, Chuck.
No, I mean, this is what we
Let
expected.
me tell you, this team. Let me tell you.
Listen, it was fun while it lasted. We are this is what we expected at this point of the season. It's exciting hockey, kind of. Last night was a fun game, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Can't argue.
I mean, we have the second most man games lost at this point, I think, right?
You're behind like
We're close to the top in something. That's great.
Yeah. That's about all we're at.
I mean,
Yeah, but it's fun hockey to watch compared to last year, at least.
to compile both points there between Hoagie and Casey, it's fun hockey to watch. It's better than these past 2 years because at the very least, these guys are trying. And, whatever you can say about, oh, well, they're giving it the old college try. Like, I'd rather watch that than watch some guys just quitting on plays, not wanting to go in, not wanting to, bust their balls and skate. This is something that I can at the very least get somewhat excited about because I know the effort's going to be there and you're going to see some fun goals because of it, because you don't expect a guy like Nick Delorier or Zach McEwen to like pop 30 goals a year. But when they do, you're excited because you're like, oh, cool. Didn't expect that,
Right.
So team's bad. We knew that. Expectations were low to begin with. It's not like anybody's going to be that disappointed by the end of the year. Let's be honest. So kind of just along for the ride and enjoy it while I can.
It's really funny
we'll
too.
still have fans. We'll still have fans disappointed. We didn't tank hard enough. Like you,
Shut the. Yeah.
What's really
I'm
funny
so
too
tired of that
is
narrative.
this team is at a point where it's like, after 5 games, like, I don't know if I could do this to myself again tonight. And then you decide to turn it off. And then the game like Columbus happens. And you're like, what
Right.
I'll turn it off after the second period where they're down 3 goals. And all of a sudden you got bang, bang, 2 quick goals. And you're like, oh, reeling me back in. You sons of bitches.
right? Or even Columbus is maybe even a bad example. But you look at the Jersey game. Jersey, who I'm still claiming is a fraud, and I think it's now being exposed. But like, you know what?
Yep.
They've had a hell of a run the first 2.5 months of the season. So like, good for them. You know what? sometimes you need a 49 save game from your franchise goaltender, and
That's what they got.
take that, Jersey. We got it.
Right.
Suck it, you filthy.
Okay, can we get to the
Yeah.
juice? Let's get to the juice. I want to talk about the juice.
The juice. Oh yeah, this is something I've been waiting all week to talk about because I've got a very
John wants
interesting thought on this. So we're gonna start with Hoagie because John's anxious to talk about it.
Dude, we're gonna go back to this guy.
Well, we're gonna
I'm
do
gonna
reverse
tell
order
you
like we do for
something.
everything.
I'm gonna
We
tell
do
you
this
something
every
about
week.
this.
You start off with the first topic, give your spiel, and Hoagie's typically last. And
Yeah,
then
but
the
he
very
doesn't-
next question, Hoagie goes first.
Hoagie typically doesn't look like Uncle Timmy after an 11 a.m. power hour right now.
Well, I'm handing the
Timmy.
mic over to Uncle Timmy here, so
Timmy.
you can
take
find
it,
him
Timmy. Timmy.
Timber. Is there a question or?
Yeah, I was gonna say you never set up what to
All right,
talk
no,
about,
that's
brother.
so let's dissect this one by one here real quick because there are multiple things to talk about. But the first one that comes to mind here, and probably the biggest of all, well, arguably the biggest, Cam Atkinson done for the year,
This is
which,
the biggest.
well, I mean, in terms of impact
Yeah, I don't know if
on the
that's the
team.
biggest.
Well, let's talk impact because if Cam Atkinson was going to come
I think
back,
it
does
is.
that not? Yeah, Casey's with me here. Thank you.
I'm with you.
We're talking
You
about
schmucks.
juice.
Got the
All right,
drunk guy
continue.
disagreeing with me here.
Yeah.
Good God.
We want drama.
So we want to start with drama. Okay, Hayes was benched. Hayes is benched, was benched, had some fun things to say about that. Meanwhile, Tortorella is telling the media that they're pitting each other against each other. And I'm caught in the middle here because I'm like, what? Who cares? I don't care anymore.
Right.
What's your take on that, Hoagie?
Listen, he wasn't benched; he was scratched, and
He was benched and
deservedly
scratched.
so. Listen. I get that he's like he was benched then scratched. Yes. Listen,
There you go.
I get he's our point per game player, but like I don't care. He's been playing lazy all freaking season. I'm tired of it, man. Like that's a statement right to the locker room. If you're not playing up to standards, you're getting scratched, benched, whatever. And I said it earlier in the season. The benches are the first strike. The scratches are coming next. And right there, Tortorella was like, "Yeah, you're not doing it for me. Here you go."
Okay. All right then. Matt Casey, your take on the whole Kevin Hayes saga here.
There was a really good breakdown on NHL Network, and I don't know who the guy was that was doing it, but I know Hartnell was on the set there. I sent it to you guys, but he basically broke down like, hey, it wasn't just this one turnover in Jersey that got Kevin Hayes benched. And Torts came out and said, we don't, I'm never going to bench a guy for one turnover. And then he broke down, it's like, why is he not, why is he actually getting scratched, as Hoagie so correctly put? It was not finishing checks. It was peeling off of rushes. It was just laziness, which like we've all seen from him. But, the fact that he's never been benched or never been scratched until this year is sort of like, oh, I guess that's acceptable. It's clearly not acceptable. When Delorier is bearing down on someone on the forecheck, it's like that I don't know if you guys have seen this trailer, but it's like the Cocaine Bear trailer. Like he's just like, like coming down. When Hayes comes in, he's like the Charmin bear. He's like, da, 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 here I come. I'm gonna tickle you, and like he's taking penalties. Like he was just playing lazy hockey. And he's gotten away with it time and time again. And Torts was finally like, enough, man. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
And in result, like, you have the drama that goes around with it. I don't think Hayes' comment was out of line where he's like, look, I don't see the benefit of me being scratched. And you're not going to think, it's not going to be like, yeah, it was really good. I was scratched. Like that. I think we can see it in a different way than Hayes does. But Tortorella, to his credit, was just like, no, I'm not going to get into this with you guys on the media side.
Yeah.
And I give him credit for that. I know, like, Frank Saravalli was like giving the eye roll. It's like, shut up, Frank. For God's sake.
Keith Yandel getting involved.
Yeah, Keith Yandel. If there was anyone who needed a scratch more than Keith Yandel, like, I'm so glad you got your Iron Man for 25 minutes, you tool. And so I just feel like, Torts is notorious for viewing the game afterwards through video. And he's like, I'm not going to comment on this player's effort, especially in something this sensitive. Like he made some comments on Wade Allison, but like he's not going to comment on something this sensitive that the media is trying to spark up. I give him credit for it. You know what? Keep it in the locker room. We don't need to know that stuff. We can just, guys like us can just guess, I guess.
All right, John.
Yeah, I mean, everything that the Matt said, I totally agree with. I mean, I think that there are aspects of Kevin Hayes' game that are bench worthy when you're trying to set that standard, right? But I also think I'm echoing, and I hate it so much.
I hear
Sorry to hear that, Hoagie.
I got nothing.
Well, good. Okay. So anyway, I think that there is a sense of like Kevin Hayes might be being asked to do more than he's capable of. At this point, you know, he is a player who is set in his ways, and I'm not saying that that's right or wrong, but I do think that it is harder for somebody who's played as long as he is to change his game. And I also think that he's playing way further up in the lineup than anybody would want this guy to. So Tortorella is maybe demanding something of him from like a team standpoint that makes sense, but just Kevin Hayes just might not be able to deliver it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not necessarily, hold on one second, Derek. That's not necessarily to make an excuse for him. I just think that like that does play a factor in it. But what I am kind of noticing is just this marriage is not going to work out. I think that Kevin Hayes is a particular kind of player that just doesn't mesh with the John Tortorella. I almost said Ton Tortorella. Ton Tortorella way of doing things.
It's his alter ego. Where he's super nice in press conferences. That's Ton Tortorella.
Ton.
He answers all questions in full and says great question every time.
I think, again, to piggyback off of all of you guys, all fantastic points. I tweeted this out last night. I do applaud how John Tortorella has handled this situation and really any other situation similar to like that, this type of like, if you want to call it confrontation or potential confrontation. He will not give the reporters a bite so that they can spin it and say, Battle of Philadelphia, Hayes versus Tortorella. Like, no. And let's be honest, none of us want that. I don't want anything sensationalized. I don't want reporters saying, this is what he said and taking one clip and blowing it completely out of proportion. No, I want these things to be handled in the locker room, in the coach's office, on the ice. Do it in your office. Don't take it out into the public forum. Just do your thing, figure it out. And if you can't figure it out, then tell Chuck to do his job and get you somebody who can figure it out. Because this whole Hayes thing, if it continues to play out this way, I almost feel like Tortorella is going to have no choice but to say, yeah, this marriage isn't working out, and it's because X, Y, and Z. Hayes is lazy. I don't like his play, and I think that he's just not a good fit, whatever that might be. And that's when it gets really ugly, because then you're going to see that type of shit in the media, people talking about Tortorella had it out for him. Like, no, like It's all indicative of Hayes' play. Like the way Tortorella views him is because of the way he plays, and he's become complacent, if you will. He plays a certain style that is not conducive to what Tortorella wants on this team. Nothing wrong with that.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Oh boy.
No, I mean, it's not one of those questions, Hoagie. We'll save that for when we go off the air.
All right, bang, marry, kill.
Do you feel like if we move on from Kevin Hayes, whether that's a buyout or a trade, which I still can't seem to fathom that happening, do you think that's the final kind of like trimming of the fat in terms of the locker room problem, right? Where it was Jacob Voracek, Claude Giroux, however you want to spin that, talk about it. But does Kevin Hayes is he that final piece that moves?
Nope.
Yes.
No, I think it is. I think he's he's the remnant of the old guard, and I'm consciously not putting JVR in this because I actually think like JVR is bought in
100%
as
agree.
best as possible, and he knows what's coming up. He knows he's going to be gone
Right.
by March.
And he has a reputation of
whatever.
being a fantastic professional.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
And we can rip his play all you want, but nobody's going to be like, oh, JVR, what a prick. Like, he's not trying
Right.
hard. Like,
JVR also has 5 goals and 7 assists in the 13 games that he's been back. Like, I'm not going to knock him right now. I'm just
we
not.
just love NHL caliber players
Yeah.
at this point. Like,
Because we don't have that many. You're all forgetting,
Yeah,
though.
we don't have any.
You're all forgetting the one guy on this team that's been around since somewhat of the beginning, Sean Couturier.
But
We
that's
don't-
an
but-
unfair
not there.
accusation.
And
though.
I was going to get to that if you would let me
Yeah, but
finish.
that's not how I do it.
I know that's not how you do it, but you got to learn here because I've adapted to you. It's time for you to adapt
4
to me.
years, you think
Yeah,
I'm
you're
going to
the
learn
Kevin
anything
Hayes
new?
of this podcast. Adapt, dude.
Fuck you.
I was talking to John. I had your back.
Oh, okay. All right.
Not anymore.
Now with you.
Anyway, we
Yikes.
don't know though, and there's the uncertainty because I don't know in what capacity Couturier is in the locker room with these guys, having an impact on their psyche, their mentality, their play. If Kevin Hayes goes and these issues still persist with Couturier, if he ever does come back, like I think Couturier is. I don't want to call him the last remaining piece because we just don't know because he hasn't been playing.
Right.
So there's the potential for him to be that last remaining piece, but I think it's between him and Hayes right now.
Yeah, I think I know for like what we know of Sean Couturier as a player.
Mm-hmm.
I have a hard, and I'm not saying you're wrong, Derek, because we truly don't know, but I'm having
Sure.
a hard time convincing myself of like him being a problem. You know what I
No,
mean?
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'm not in any way, shape, or form saying
Sure,
he
but
is
you're
a
saying
problem.
There could be the verdict
There's
is still out
a
if he's
chance.
not.
Yeah, because he's
Right.
from the old guard. You know, he was here for a majority of Giroux's career. He was here for a majority of Voracek's career in Philadelphia as well. Like there's certain
Sure.
habits, man, and certain ways of going about things that are hard to break.
Well,
So-
right now his habits are Netflix and chill.
Yeah, therapy.
Ooh. Oh.
So anything else to wrap up with the Hayes discussion here? Because and you guys are gonna laugh.
The
but
buyout.
the buyout.
The idea of like a buyout. Because
I don't like it.
we do it.
right. But it's like
Yeah,
1
there's no
million
way.
something the first year. Elliot Friedman said it was like 1 million something cap hit the first year, but then the next 2 years were like 4 point something.
Here, 2023, 2024, it's
It's
2.25, so 2.25. Next year's 4 3/4, same as 2025, 2026. And then from 2026 to 2029, those 3 years, it's 1.6. So you're going to get hit pretty hard from 24 to 26. But after that, it's
And next
1.6.
year is a bit of a reprieve.
Well, yeah, next year's a bit of a reprieve. You're going to save because his contract's 7.1.
Right.
So you're going to get around 4.9 in relief. But after that, you're getting not even 3. You're getting 2.5.
Barely
in
anything.
reprieve. Cap's going to go up eventually. It's going to probably increasingly go up. But
Yeah, but
still,
it's only going up like 1 million, right?
yeah,
Reportedly.
yeah.
So there's the
not
question.
next season, but the one after.
Right. There's the question: is getting him off the roster and getting a little bit of cap flexibility worth it?
I don't know.
I personally don't think
not a
so.
buyout.
I'll go the other route with this. And like, I'm not saying this is going to happen, and I'm not saying like I fully believe in this, but like the other route is like we're making a big deal and media sensationalizing this guy being scratched for 1 game.
Right.
And like that, you know what? Maybe Hayes just says, "Yeah, okay, I see what you guys are doing. I'm saying these things in the press, whatever." Maybe he does come back and continues to play decently. Like I don't hate the way our first 2 lines are playing. He's not on those first 2 lines. Like he's on line 3. Take that third line and go. So like there's a chance where Hayes just, he might not be the superstar that a $7+ million a year salary warrants, but I still don't think that he's worth a buyout with 4 years left on his term. Like it makes 0 sense to me.
There's value there. Like he is not a point per game, but damn close to a point per game player right now. Like if we can try to accommodate that and not put him, obviously I know it's difficult, but not put him in positions where he's going to need to play a primarily defensive role on the ice,
Right.
and let him do his thing on offense. Like he's great with possession of the puck. He can shield the puck away from the defender with his body, which I mean, I haven't seen somebody do that since Yager. You know, you can maybe count Voracek, but like big body, he's got those attributes that lend themselves to a certain modicum of success, and you just got to find a way to utilize those while still masking his deficiencies on the flip side of the puck.
And I think Chuck Fletcher at some point has got to. I mean,
Fletcher at some point got to go.
Well, but for right now, right? He's the GM, so at some point he's going to have to pull his meat stick out from between his legs and go, John Tortorella, I'm sorry, but this guy's on the hook. You got to find a way to make it work.
Before that,
you know,
can you imagine, like, can you imagine if like Tortorella comes in, he's like, all right, here, Chuck, like, yeah, we got to move Hayes, and Tortorella and Chuck is sitting there with like one of those rackets with the like rubber balls and the string, and he's just going like, I'm really busy right now, John. I just can't handle this. Right
Blazing
now.
Saddles, the governor. How does it? It's warped. It's warped.
He's just sitting there playing solitaire on his computer. Like, you're gonna have to give me a
minute now,
here.
not now, John.
Come back in about 20 minutes.
But right, in all seriousness, though, like the GM should go, listen, buying this guy out makes no sense. I can't trade him. You need to find a way to make it work with this guy. I get that, you know, you don't have to worry about the cap hit because you're not the general manager. Find a spot that makes sense for Kevin Hayes because he's not going anywhere.
Hoagie, the Flyers have to move Kevin Hayes. Do you prefer a buyout or a trade?
Trade. He's going to Boston.
Is he?
He's going.
I also think he's like
He's
two
going to Boston.
benchings away from requesting a trade.
He'll waive that no trade clause.
He probably already has. The way he's been treated under Tortorella, he probably already has, and we just don't know. He's going to Boston.
I'll be right
There's no
back.
doubt about it in my mind.
All right. Well, while John's gone here, let's switch topics completely. No.
Yeah, absolutely.
No. I see your point because he's a Boston guy. There's a lot of pressure on him to go back home, given circumstances too surrounding his brother, him probably wanting to be close to the family. I know how involved he is with the family too.
Listen,
how's Boston going to make that work?
It's his dad.
It's his whole family.
His dad wants him home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that
But
they
you know
want
what?
him home.
Sorry, in
Doing another
NHL, like
thing.
Daddy doesn't call the shots like in Pee Wee. Like the coach's son doesn't get to play center every time. Sorry, like
I get that,
this
but
is real life.
But listen, I've gone to plenty Philly Boston games. Every time I go, I'm talking to someone that's like, "Oh, I saw Hayes down in the locker room. Here's pictures of my kid with him and all his friends." He's a Boston guy. Boston has so many freaking contracts to re-sign with so many 37, 38-year-olds like Bergeron,
Krejci, Bergeron, yep.
Yeah, like Hayes is the perfect guy for a rebuild. He's on a sit down. He's on a go right into that lineup. They have like only two centers right now. They just terminated Craig Smith's contract. Like he's the guy that's going to put seats in butts, or butts and seats. Excuse me, in Boston.
I'm so mad, John.
I've said that. Yeah, I know. I've said that so many times in my head. But no, he's the guy
now.
He's the guy that's going to keep Boston rolling. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. If we are able to trade him for Boston for like a fair market value, believe me, like nobody in Philly is going to be like, no, not Kevin Hayes. Like
there's a couple, I'm sure.
But on the flip side, it doesn't all. It's not the fairy tale story.
Right.
You know, we didn't get Johnny Gaudreau. We got the prodigal son, Tony D'Angelo.
Big
you know,
Nick.
and so it's like, I don't know. I would give him just as much chance of getting traded to Winnipeg or something like that. Like, you know, I have no idea. Like,
go back to Winnipeg.
He has a 12-team no trade clause. That leaves,
right.
so, like, you know, there's plenty of options out there.
Yeah, I'm on the same wavelength there. I think he's gone. I think there's some way, somehow he's gone. Whether it's buyout, trade, I'd obviously prefer a trade because we get something in return.
And
But
not a cap hit. Just eating
yeah,
dead
well, think
money.
if we had
Listen,
to pay
we'll
what
still
we
get the
paid for
cap hit
Gostisbehere to
regardless.
go, what are we paying for a
Right.
$7 million cap hit?
Yeah, we're hitting something on that way.
Yeah. So aside from the Hayes news, we've got Lucas Sedlak, who, by all intents and purposes, he's not Kevin Hayes, but regardless, the situation surrounding it was interesting to say the least. And it just kind of hit us from left field this past Saturday, I should say. And they put him on unconditional waivers for the purpose of terminating his contract. And so it's been terminated. He's heading back to Pardubice or something like that. I can't pronounce it. I probably sound like an
In
a-hole.
Czechia.
Yeah, he's going back to Czech Republic to play hockey closer to home. Get that. It looks like there was this is a tweet from Gianna Hahn. Looks like a quote from not a direct quote, but he said that it has nothing to do with the Flyers. Playing in the NHL didn't bring him the joy that he expected. And then, at the age that he's at, it's about being closer to family, having fun with however many years that he might have left to play the game of hockey.
I want to be Sidney Crosby. I go to the NHL.
Information that would have been helpful yesterday.
I'm going to go on record here and say I'm not buying a word of it. But I want to get your guys' take first because I have an interesting one that I have a feeling at least one of you is going to hate.
Well, I mean, you're just volunteering me to go first.
Yeah, sure, John. Go first.
Yeah, John,
All
you
right.
go, man. You take the stick and run.
Go right ahead.
All right. Well, I do like the theory of the fact that when he was in the KHL, right, he was putting up tons of points. He was a top 6 guy. So he came to the NHL, wanted to see if he could be a top 6 player, and it just didn't turn out that way. He ended up playing on the 4th line. I like, what was it, Tortorella's line, where it's like, well, if you can't make it on the top 6 of this team, then
can't make it much where else.
But it just seems not Flyer enough for that to just be that, right? I just feel like there was something else there. He probably didn't like playing under John Tortorella. And I'll be honest with you, I liked him for what he was. I thought he was a decent enough bottom 6 guy who kind of did his thing. I was a little surprised that he wanted to up and leave. You'd feel like the NHL would be enough to at least make it through the season and then make that decision. But I don't know. I mean, I'm going to buy a little bit of the fact that, like, he thought maybe he could crack a top 6 somewhere, or at least play for a championship, right? He signed with
the
Colorado.
Equivalent of like the D League. Jesus.
Right, but he also signed with Colorado. He was like, hey, if I can't crack the top 6, at least I can hoist a cup. And then good old Philadelphia
Good
scoops him
business
up.
decision.
And he's like, I'm on the 4th line of the 5th worst team in the league. Might as well go back to good old Chechnya.
What's your take on all this, Hoagie?
I mean, from what I've heard, he didn't want to play here. He didn't want to play under Torts, even though he played with Torts in Columbus. Like, he went from Stanley Cup winner Avalanche to, we're buying for a freaking lottery pick with the Philadelphia Flyers. Like, I don't blame him, but like, it was a shock. I liked him for what he was. Bottom 6, like John said. Yeah, that's kind of what he was. I mean, didn't he say something along the lines of like, I think I can go play somewhere else where I can get more minutes and more ice time and
Probably
produce
another
more.
league, though, not a done.
That
not
would
a
be
team
the
in the NHL.
That'd be the logic behind it, though.
Right.
I mean, I get that.
I get that as well, but like I feel like in his mind he thinks he's better than what he is in the NHL as well, which I don't see. I mean,
I don't know if I buy that enough.
I don't know. I think he did well for a bottom 6 forward for the Flyers. He was one of the best.
Yeah.
Out of what we had. I mean, you have
the
McEwen,
best,
you
man.
have Lawn.
It was the best. What a guy.
Yeah, you have McEwen, you
not
have Lawn,
wrong,
you have freaking Delorier. Like that,
Yeah,
he
Sedlak's
played his
gonna
ass
go
off.
down as a real hero. Yeah.
Yeah.
Casey, hit us
Get
with the
his jersey
fire,
next.
buddy.
Casey's just scheming over there right now. Like, I've got so much to say.
Like, initially, I was like kind of impressed with Sedlak, but then I was like, this guy's a poor man's Jerry Mayhew. Like he worked hard initially, and then he maybe had a goal or two, but he got ragdolled on the regular. Like he got his ass
on the
tossed
reg.
around left and right, and like. He wasn't big. He wasn't necessarily fast. He wasn't strong. He was everything that the last 2 years Flyers had been, which was mediocre. And so I don't care. Like get out of here. Like you don't want to
Jason
play in the
Atkinson.
NHL. Fine, go for it. So I don't care one bit that he is gone. I don't think he wanted to play under Tortorella. I think that was definitely a bait and switch. And like for some people, it's not for them. Like I'm still shocked that Justin Braun hasn't been like, yeah, I'm out. But Justin Braun seems to be doing just fine. So I think it's just a mentality thing. And this guy thought he was a top 6 guy. Stats and general just, knowledge lets you know that he's not. And so I don't know. I could give 2 shits that he's gone. Get out of here.
Well, the ironic thing, too, is like top 6 guy, but it's not even like he's going to the KHL or like another top-notch league. Like no knock on the Czech Republic, and I'm not really.
None of us could play there, Christ.
Right, but I'm pretty sure like David Casa is a star in the Czech Republic, which
Jaromir Jagr, 40,
Right.
like just fucking slaughtered in because
geriatric tour continues.
When I first heard this news, I'm thinking to myself, like, what is wrong with this team? Like, they can't even retain somebody like this. But after really thinking about it, and I don't know if you want to say this is like just me being a dick or me being out of touch. I don't know. I think this is a fantastic opportunity for the individuals that are buying into this team and buying into Torts' system and Torts' coaching style. They need to vilify not Sedlak, but what he did. It should be viewed as Sedlak quitting on the team. Mm-hmm. And anybody who wants to buy in, anybody that needs to buy in, that is fighting for a spot in the NHL, needs to vilify what he did and look at that and say,
where are you going?
Shut the hell up.
TK, I'm going to the Czech Republic. Who's
right?
coming with me?
But think about it. I mean, is that not a great opportunity for some of these guys? You could maybe count TK in there, but like a Morgan Frost.
No, absolutely.
Like Morgan Frost should look at that and be like, no, dude, I don't want to quit on this team. I'll be out of a job. They won't have me anywhere. I'll be back in the AHL as a regular there and never make it back up here.
Czech Republic.
Like, yeah, I'm not going to the Czech Republic.
He'll be running blow like what's his name? Yuri Laterra.
Like Laterra, yeah.
Laterra.
Like, I hate to say it because honestly, I don't know Sedlak as a person. I don't want to make him out to be a bad guy. He's not a bad guy. His decision was made based off of family, it looks like, and I can't argue with that. But the way he did it and what he did on its surface in a vacuum should be vilified by these guys on the team, saying, no, not quitting on this team. I'm all in, and start busting your ass for a spot on this team.
They start doing the branding thing like they do at Yellowstone, where it's like, I'm in.
Right? They all get tattoos, matching tattoos.
Right.
You don't just quit after an hour. You get out there and you find that fucking dog.
You get your ass out there. Oh boy.
Derek, we've been doing this for 3 years. That may be the most coherent and intelligent thing I've ever heard you say. So good job.
I concur.
Yeah,
that was something.
You're welcome.
I'm not sure if it was
no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. Let's keep doing that.
I'm not sure if that was a compliment or an insult, but you could take it as both, and it'll be great.
I'm gonna take it as a compliment.
All right, there you go.
Crack that beer, baby.
I'm gonna have another beer.
This has got the makings of a 2-hour-long episode, by the way. We are slogging through this.
We're like 40 minutes in here right now, and there's really only a couple more things to touch on.
This
but
is
now
the
we've
holiday
got questions.
episode. This is going to
We
be
can
fun.
take it late.
We can do as long as we want.
We can take it late. If I run out of beer, I'm gonna have to run out. I keep my beer outside because it's colder out there. So yeah, you'll have to excuse me if I have to get another one. But
I emptied a bottle of whiskey. I was like, no, what are you doing? That's not supposed to happen.
I'm waiting on hoagies to arrive here.
Right. Well, no, it doesn't work that way, buddy. It doesn't work that way. You can't.
I wish it
send
did. I wish it did. But
Listen,
so I tried to lead off with the whole Cam Atkinson thing here, but
Right.
This is probably a pretty quick hitter here. Anybody surprised? Is anybody surprised right now?
That he's done for this season?
Just
Correct.
frustrated. Just frustrated. Yeah.
Part of the course.
If we hadn't dealt with the Ellis, then Couturier, now this, like, you know, it stinks. And I think I'm trying to find a silver lining, and it's like silver lining is for these young guys, and I know we'll get into it a little bit, like there's no help coming. Like this is it. Like you guys are the ones to go. And I think once you get hypothetically a healthy Couturier, a healthy never Ellis, but you know, a healthy Atkinson, it's sugar on top.
Ellis.
A retired Ellis. But you know, you get Couturier and Atkinson in there. You know, these guys have been through the battle. It's no longer like, oh, they'll take care of it. Everyone's on board. So I think this is glass half full, but like I think in the long run, it's going to be good for these guys.
Yeah. What do you think?
That's right.
What are your thoughts?
yeah, I mean,
He's looking very pensive.
it sucks.
Look how he's frozen.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any thoughts. Yeah, thanks, John. No, I mean,
No
it
thoughts.
sucks. Atkinson is a complete freaking. He's an athlete. He wants to play. He wants to be in the lineup. Like, it sucks, but I mean, it gives the TKs, the Owen Tippett's, those type of players that the outlet to do what they do without being drowned in a lineup. Excuse me. It sucks, but it'll be good in the long run because we'll know what we have come the end of the season.
It's the next man up mentality.
Right.
Yeah. What do you think, John? I mean, are shocked? Don't care.
Well, no, I'm not shocked. I mean, I don't think that anybody should be shocked with injury news with this team at all. But I do think that, like, if there ever was a season to not play through an injury and, like, just see what you can do to help us get over the hump or whatever, that this is it. You know, I would much rather him get the surgery, be out for the year, us stink a little bit more than we would with Atkinson. And hopefully, right, he'll be back next year. I think that sometimes when we put in, we love to now with tweets, whether it's people who have legitimate news sources or if it's somebody just trying to speculate where it's like, could be career ending. Like, I don't think we're quite there yet, you know. Like, let's chill out a minute.
Sources tell me. Yeah.
And if we can get a healthy Atkinson back and he is somebody that never in my mind were you going to tell me he wasn't bought into the Tortorella way. So it's like he didn't need this year to be bought in. He completely understands what the Tortorella system is, what the work ethic is like. If you can throw him into hypothetically a better team next year, you know, I'll take him being out this season without a problem, you know?
My mindset's kind of the same as how I feel about Couturier. If you're going to miss time, do it now because there's really nothing to play for. You're learning a new system, which, okay, yes, you ideally like to be on the ice, see Nolan Patrick when AV took over, but regardless, you want to be on the ice, you want to learn the system, but at the same rate, Cam Atkinson's played under Tortorella.
Who's that?
Who's Nolan Patrick? He's a second overall pick that was a complete bust. Anyways,
Ask Vegas.
We broke our rule. We weren't ever supposed to talk about him on the podcast again. That's my fault, guys.
That is your fault.
That is my fault.
But sorry. We'll move on.
I'm not going to say I'm going to edit it out because we don't edit this show. Regardless, I can if I want to, though.
Casey, I got to ask you, Casey, you online shopping right now? Like, what's going on?
I got some work stuff going on here. I'm multitasking here.
What am I going to spank the monkey to later tonight?
Work stuff.
Oh, crap. Anyways, no. Yeah, no shock, no surprise. I hope that whatever the issue is gets fixed. If the surgery is going to fix it, great. Seems like the physical therapy and the rehab that he was doing wasn't going to fix it. So get it fixed. Come back healthy. Let's start it all over again next year. Hopefully next year there's a few more pieces in place for a long-term solution as well. So it might be more advantageous.
Somebody else will get injured.
Oh no, Ivan Provorov somehow has this degenerative back issue again.
Let's
oh my
run
god,
it back, baby! Ivan Provorov has lost his shoulders. His arms are still connected to his chest, but he's got no shoulders.
Still will be our best defenseman.
I'm assuming you guys have all seen The Replacements, right? The movie about the football. Yeah. You ever wonder how a deaf hockey player would be? Like if it would work. No.
No, I don't think it would.
Hey, watch out for that Oh.
That's the best when he's like, all right, let's hook up. And like you're like, oh, this is the worst display of acting I've ever seen.
And it's so funny thinking that the deaf tight end is Roy from The Office.
Yes, yes.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
The Replacements is one of those movies where like if it's on TV at any point, yeah,
gotta watch it.
I'll watch it. I don't care.
It was on like a week or two
how far.
ago at like midnight. I'm like, I gotta at least watch half of it. Like
And you're like, Gina Hackman, did you lose a bet? Why are you in this movie?
oh, it's just, you can't look away. You can't look away. No, aside from the Atkinson news, the Hayes news, the Sedlak news, let's get a little hopeful here.
By the way, good pun there. Good pun there, Hoagie. Sedlak checks out.
That was good. Very creative.
That was sober Hoagie. That was peak moment. Right
I wrote that.
Pre-Christmas party, Hoagie.
That's a dad joke. That's the dad joke of the week.
Well, we can check that one off the rundown here.
I will leave.
We're moving on to Royals jokes.
Oh, you guys are on a roll.
Oh.
Much like Princess Diana on the windshield.
Oh,
Can't too soon? Like, come on, it's been a while. Yeah, guys, come on. Have a sense of humor.
I do love that the collective.
Oh, you guys, I'll tell you what, man.
All right.
Anyways, let's talk about some hopefuls here, and let's touch on this quick because we want to get to the questions too. But understand this is going to be a longer episode. John, we'll start with you because if we don't, you're going to bitch.
Mm-hmm.
What are you most hopeful for entering the? I don't want to call it second half of the season, but you know what I mean.
Like the new year?
Yeah, let's call it the new year. Sure, because that's what it is.
I mean, honestly, I want the team to keep kind of moving in the same direction that they are. You know, every time I watch them, I see a team that's bought in to what Tortorella is doing. I would like to see kind of the noise be canceled out, whether it's Hayes or anybody else that's involved. I want to squash that crap, whether it's Hayes decides to buy in, can kind of make John Tortorella happy, or we find a way to deal with him. But I just want to kind of see this team continue to do what it's doing with the hopes of like Owen Tippett being a little bit more consistent, Morgan Frost being a little bit more consistent. You know, those players showing us a little bit more where it's like, okay, yeah, we should hold on to these guys. Because yes, Morgan Frost has played better recently, but I'm not sold yet. So if like we could just get a little bit more clarity on those players that we had question marks about, I mean, for probably the past 2.5 years, I think that would be beneficial, but I think it's just kind of staying the course at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Are we going to revisit for like not so serious moments, or should I throw that in there now? Because I do have another one too.
Let's hit that last.
Okay.
Let's hit that last here. All so right. let's go to Casey here first.
Yeah, I would say from a hopeful standpoint, I hope that we get a homegrown star. And I think Couturier certainly has been, but you know, a year off the ice isn't helping him. Is Konechny, like, is he a star? I'm not saying superstar. I'm not saying, you know, Marner,
the Matthews and McDavids of the world.
Like,
right.
And I'm not saying generational Ovechkin or Crosby. I'm saying a star. And I think that Konechny could be there. I think, Provorov, maybe he's going to turn some heads. I don't know. But, like, I would love to be able to be, like, besides Carter Hart, who I think we can all agree, like, okay, he's solidified his place for the most part.
Sure.
Who's another guy that we can just put as a pillar of this team? Right now, the front runners connect me in my mind. Like the game he had last night, like was filthy. Yes, it's
I know
Columbus.
Hoagie's answer.
Hey,
to
you know
this.
what? We're the Flyers. So I that's what I'm hopeful for is that you see one of these young guys, and maybe it's somebody we don't even know at this point. Maybe it's somebody who's, maybe it's Wade Allison. Who knows? Somebody who just becomes a
Bobby
pillar.
Brink.
Yeah, maybe it's another player we've never seen actually play a real game.
Maybe we offer Sheet Cole Caulfield.
Ooh, so
Spicy.
I think that's what I'm hopeful for is that like some of the homegrown stuff we get clarity on that and we can just start building around them as well.
Casey, can I just ask you a kind of a clarifying question?
Yep.
Do you mean people who have like signed contracts, or would you throw in like Cutter Gauthier into this mix? Like,
I can't throw in Gauthier in there because I haven't seen him play an NHL game.
Sure.
Like,
okay. No, so I wasn't sure if
Yeah.
you meant like in the system, like yet to be seen, or just strictly has played NHL games.
I would say like on the current roster, like the current NHL roster.
That's fair.
Right now.
Got it.
What about
Well,
a Tyson Forrester? I mean, no, he's not on the NHL roster, but I think he's getting close.
If he comes up and makes a statement, that's great. I'm never gonna watch a
not
Phantoms
yet.
game. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna I don't care. Until they come up, like until they
son
come,
of a
I ain't
bitch.
ready.
It's so funny because your favorite sport is college football, which is strictly
Hey.
developmental.
No, college football is a business. You can't compare the AHL to college.
Have you
football.
seen the 30 for 30 with the University of Miami? Come on. That's a business.
Was it National Signing Day today? Yeah. Did I do any work? No. That's why I'm doing work on the side here.
Am I doing any work after 2 p.m. tomorrow? No.
That's a
What's
wild
with that 2
one.
p.m.
too.
game? What are we doing here?
It's Kids Day in Toronto. In Toronto.
Kids should
They
be
not
at
going to
school.
school?
I don't know.
Wait, Christmas. Christmas is Saturday.
Tomorrow.
Not even Saturday. It's Sunday. Christmas is Sunday. Go to school for Friday. And
I mean, granted, I'm not going to do any work
Idiots.
anyway, but like, it's annoying.
yeah. All right,
I love
Hoagie,
it.
your take. Your holiday hopeful here.
Cam York, he looks good. He came up, 6 games played, goal and 3 assists. I'll take it. I'm up here.
I like it. I like it.
Screw whoever's up. Keep Cam York.
How many drinks have you had so far, Hoagie?
Oh my God. That's the old bar stool in this town.
cannot say.
Holy moly.
Oh man, we got to capitalize on Hoagie being shit faced right now. I like Hoagie's point. I think we've seen, and it more so lends itself to the press conference that Tortorella had against the Rangers, where he essentially said he trusts Cam York, and that's huge to me. Because we know Tortorella and we know how hard he can be on some of these guys, especially some of the kids. So for him to say that he trusts Cam York is a big step in the right direction for Cam York. So I'm really hopeful that the rest of this season he can take advantage of that, keep doing his thing. If they're going to put him on the power play, let him just do his thing. If they're going to have him killing penalties, let him kill penalties. I don't care. Whatever role he's put into, I want him to succeed to the highest degree. So that way Tortorella can just keep piling on the compliments, piling on the praise. And we might have a decent pair or partner, if you will, for Provorov. Now, or they bump Provorov down and slot York up there. I don't know. That's why I'm not the coach. I'm with Hoagie. I think Hoagie brought up a perfect holiday hopeful there.
You hear that, John?
Okay.
You guys can disagree. That's fine.
No,
So-
I think Hoagie, what you've provided on this show has been just
Invaluable.
master genius.
Nothing less than miraculous.
You're welcome.
Right,
Miracle on Pod Street Bullies.
right.
Miracle on Pod Street. There we go. All right. So John
Oh,
wants to get
there's
funny with this one.
I don't know if I want to get funny or more offensive. I mean, depending on who listens.
Get offensive. Let's
Get
do
weird. Just get it.
it.
Yep.
So, like,
it. Why not?
you know, as much as
I'm
I
so
play
offended.
off that I don't prepare for this show or anything, you know, this is mine and Derek's baby, right? We put a lot of work into this. We've been doing this for what, 4 years? Yeah. What?
We?
Well, yeah, I provide the funds, so.
You remember all the rundowns I used to put together, and you'd be like, "Yeah, I
Alright,
just
this
looked at it 5 minutes
This isn't
ago."
a time to
prepare.
yeah, but it's a shtick. Nobody's talking to you right
Turn
now.
this
Hoagie.
into a dick swinging contest, and right now mine's massive.
But anyway, what I was saying was mine and Derek's baby. You heard that, right, Casey? That I wasn't saying my baby. I said mine and Derek's, and he just
Yep, you did.
all right. He was like the baby
Fair.
mom on a freaking what was it,
Huge
Springfield or whatever his name was, Jerry Springer. Springfield is
Jerry
not what it
Springer.
is.
Yep.
It ain't your
Springer.
baby.
Anyway,
So,
get to the
anyway.
point.
Anyway,
Yeah,
So,
come on, guys.
Today,
when I listen to Flyers podcasts and I listen to people who are like tuned in with the team and have sources and stuff like that, they should not be the podcasts that I avoid. I would much rather listen to us talk or listen to 5 Minute Major or High and Wide. I know I'm plugging affiliates, but guys who like actually
Keep
have
plugging them. Keep
passion,
plugging them.
passion around the team, because the people who are
Hell
plugged
yeah.
in this team,
Great plug.
it's one of two ways. You've either got the choking real hard on it all, where it's like we've got to identify 2 plays that a player did, or it's like, well, this goalie, he let in a goal that every goaltender should allow, but he's phenomenal. And I'm going to talk about Wade Allison in a second, but let me just tell you again that Carter Hart's great. You have that, or you've got the other side of it where it's like somehow the Flyers are giving you terminal diseases all the time. And it's just, I can't see. I would love to find a tuned in, like people who know their stuff and have actual information about the Flyers podcast that's like us, that's a little bit more down the middle. Because right now, it's like, who's paying these guys checks? It's either the Flyers or it's some other money-hungry news organization that's like, smut. We just
Drum
want
some
smut.
shit.
Just give them, just
Right.
smut. That's all we want. So
Yeah.
my hope is that somehow we will find a way to get plugged in people who aren't either choking on it or looking to produce a porn film.
Right.
well put.
There's a Family
Well
Guy
put.
episode where they do like a flashback of Walt Disney sketching Minnie Mouse, and she's like, "All right, now take off your blouse," and she's like, "Do I have to?" Like that's basically what
Well, it's
what
like
some of those guys are doing.
it's like one particular podcast on Mondays that I listen to. I mean, I listen to it daily, but that one on Mondays, it's like the guy for most of the podcast is like, but it's like when you get on the pedestal kind of people like Morgan Frost. Oh, did you see that play that Morgan Frost made? It was that one where he like evaded a player and then passed it to another player. The play turned into nothing, but it was a great moment.
Yeah.
Sort of like
just
that
like-
the through the leg shot he made last night, which
I
turned
mean,
to nothing, but that was kind of a nice.
Listen,
And I'm sure that shirt is still covered in white.
yeah. Oh, I tweeted.
White
I did.
Christmas.
I did it last night.
What'd you do?
Yes, sir. I smothered all over the.
Oh, I
the-
wasn't naming names. I wasn't naming names.
Oh,
you
I
tried to
did it.
keep
I don't
it
give a
fair,
fuck.
buffoon.
Casey liked it. I know he did.
I completely see where you're at, because there's clearly 2 sides where you've got the podcasts that are, in John's words, choking on it. And then you've got the ones that just want to drum shit up. They want to be the torchbearers for the anti-Flyer movement, you know. And
We want to choke on it while drumming shit up. What?
but the thing is too, and I've listened to those podcasts that have been overtly negative, and you see minor attempts at them trying to toe the line. And I'm like, I wonder if this is them actually acting in good faith, or is it the fact that there's credentials at stake here too, and someone reached out and was like, "Hey, buddy, let's tone it back if you still want access to the team." So there's some pull there that the Flyers can easily reach out to any team that they allow credentials to, or any outlet that they allow credentials to, and be like, "Hey, don't really want to give you guys credentials if you're going to just continuously shit on the team that you cover."
They allow credentials to an organization that must beat their head on concrete every morning. So I'm pretty sure that they'll just allow it to anybody.
That's fair. That's fair. That is very fair. No, I couldn't tell you the name of the individual that I think they DM'd the podcast account like a week or two ago that said, was it Roger Watson? He was on the show before.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it was him. I don't think he doesn't DM. He just
it was, I think, G Seidel or something like that. Someone, and I apologize if I'm getting it wrong here. Whoever did it, we appreciate it. But they said, like, we're the only podcast that they listen to that we're down the line. We're not over the top this way, over the top that way.
Independent.
Yeah, we're the independents of the Flyers podcasting scene
the
here.
Switzerland of the Flyers world.
We are.
I wouldn't say we're Switzerland.
Don't get me wrong. I'm guilty of being completely negative, but
Sure.
like I'm also, not all sunshine and rainbows, and
But I'm guilty of being overly positive. We balance each
Sure.
other out.
We're hopeful.
But I think that the big thing is, it's like when you go to people who are supposed to be like tuned in with the team, and it's like you can't seem to get like just a level-headed answer where it's like it's clearly.
That's what it is.
I can't stand that. I don't like it with news. I don't like it with anything. So it's like when you listen to these guys, it's like a trusted source.
Yeah, we're the AP news of Flyers. Like it's gonna be dull and raw, but you know what? It is what it is.
The point of podcasting is to put your opinion out there, and that's why we do this, because these are our opinions. But like John said, when you're tapped into the team and you're quote unquote reporting on the team, but your opinion remains the same way every single time, and it just gets like increasingly, I don't want to say worse, but more volatile. I don't know if that's the best word for it, but when it just gets worse and worse as it goes, like, it's frustrating because I don't listen to a podcast to hear somebody bitch and moan for 45 minutes. I don't listen to a podcast to hear somebody try to blow smoke up my ass for 45 minutes. I listen for opinions from guys like us that are not necessarily tapped into the team.
In the microphone, yeah.
That was Hoagie, by the way.
We're more knowledgeable than your common Flyers fan. Let's say that.
Sure.
And I tried to move away from it. So does anybody else have any non-serious
I love
hopes?
the fact that Hoagie just played you off the stage, Derek, by putting the next segment on the bottom. Be like, okay, let's wrap this up.
It's not even the next segment. The next segment's the question.
It's not.
Next segment is questions.
Let's question it up.
Yeah, let's question it up. All right, Hoagie took the lead on this one so that he
really
would.
quick sidebar. Do you remember
God,
the first time you came to visit me, and the episode we did was strictly
Completely
questions,
off the
and
rails.
we were hammered. I
Oh
would
my
love
God.
to muster that up and just have all four of us sit and listen to that episode.
Oh my God. No, you know what we need to do is we all need to do an episode like that where we're all meeting. I don't care if it's my house, your house, anyone's house, even if it's like a bar, I don't care. Let's all just do this.
Yeah.
We should do a podcast from a game, like in the parking lot.
Question time.
Question time. The first question comes from Cuck Fletcher. From Z from Time My Skates. And this is a good question. What has to happen before we as fans can start trusting this Flyers organization again? John Gove.
I think that their actions have to match what they're saying. I think there's too many conflicting messages right now that nobody can really buy anything that this organization is producing. So it's like when we say aggressive retool, and then the biggest thing we do is sign Nick Delorier on free agency day. I think those moments is what's keeping this team from, the fan base from truly trusting who's in charge of this team. Name it as a rebuild, and then just start acting that way, and I think you'll get a lot more buy-in.
Name a direction.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all for me. Hoagie.
Yeah. Yeah. Just tell me where we're going. Yeah.
What?
You said the senior? What the hell was that?
Oh my god.
Oh, you sound like that guy on Mondays.
Tell me where we're going. I don't know.
I'll take you
Yeah.
one step further though. It's like an actual that's a premise. I would say I would take an actual action. You have issues with Kevin Hayes, you find a way to trade Kevin Hayes for something good. Like that is something where I can be like, okay, didn't work out. That's an actual thing where Chuck did his job and did it well. That's where I can get back on board.
Show us set would be nice, man.
Just show us some.
Show us. Anyways, next question.
Show us your balls.
G-Side.
Let's start with Hoagie here.
John. G-Sidel 1990 on Twitter. What are you guys doing for the holidays? We're keeping it light. So, Hoagie, we'll start with you. What are you going to do for the holidays this year, man?
I am traveling to the great state of the Union, Pennsylvania, baby. Let's go.
This is amazing. I love it. I don't even know if I've seen Hoagie like take a drink. Are you like sneaking drinks right now? Okay, it's just he's frozen half the time, so I can't see him taking drinks. That's what it is. All right, Matt Casey, what are you going to be doing for the holidays?
Yeah, I got 2 young kids and in-laws up from Florida. I'm looking like a lot of drinking.
Run to the hills.
We're here. We're hosting Christmas. Our kids are at that magical age where I can't wait to wake up at 5 a.m. to watch them rip through presents and not say thank you. So,
what about you, John?
I was really trying to think of something creative where it was like I wanted to like tie a jingly bell to the youngest and like she runs across the street and we have to go find her with BB guns, but I've really got nothing. I mean, I guess that works on its own. But
idea.
My in-laws live in my basement, so we're just having family here. I mean, my family, like my actual family, sucks ass, so they're not coming. But
do you say it like jokingly though to your like in-laws in the basement? Like,
Amen.
so you guys coming over for the holidays, or you venturing out?
Well, no, I've said to him, I was like, listen, who's driving home? Whenever they come up, for drinks or anything, I'm just like, who's driving home? We don't want to have too many, or it's like you got to beat the traffic.
And they're like, "Oh, John."
It's more so a hint, like, okay, it's time to get the fuck out. Like, go back to your quarters. All right, yeah, same thing. We've got, Christmas in the morning with my side of the family, nighttime with Tasha's side of the family, and a little guy that's going to be ripping open presents, and I'm just going to be sitting back, enjoying my coffee in the morning.
Christmas with kids should end at 10 anyway. Like, there should be no other holiday after 10 a.m. It's just like done.
Yep. Let him play with his toys, do his thing. I can sit back, relax. It's Saturday. There's football on Sunday. I'm sorry. There's still football on Sunday too.
But which is nice. I mean, is that typically? I was arguing with the birds. There's not typically a full slate of football on Christmas, right? Like it's
I don't think so.
No,
Christmas can be on a Tuesday. Yeah,
right. I've got to pretend that I'm an NBA fan.
Not.
No. I won't watch the NBA. I can't.
Right.
Yeah, how pissed is the NBA, by the way? Once every 7 years, this happens. Awesome.
Like, damn it, we're competing with the NFL this year. All right, next one comes from the God of Hammers, and he asks, or she asks, when will this entire team be fired into the sun? Hoagie, you're going to give the most entertaining answer, so let's start with you.
He's not even listening.
He's not. His headphones are like his headphones are over.
It's cut off. Is it me?
It cut off. Yeah, it's you. When will this entire team be fired into the sun?
Year 2024.
Drop them.
Cut off. I swear to God.
And he's out. All right. Fine.
Who took him out?
That was me.
He's gonna kill you.
He just told me he was frozen. All
right, when are we firing this team into the sun?
Casey, could you please just provide an answer for the people?
I don't think we are. This is our team, guys. We're not firing this team into the sun.
What did Hoagie say? We are who we are.
We're the string quartet on the Titanic. It's been
Did
beautiful.
you take him out again? You did.
That wasn't me. That wasn't me. I think he did it himself. It was a self-inflicted remove.
Dude, his Wi-Fi has been terrible, like all show.
So is this Wi-Fi.
He's frozen. Oh nope, never mind. He's moving. There we go. Anyways, yeah, we are who we are. This team it is what it is. We'll see. Better luck next year. I don't know.
Right, but what do they even mean by that? Like,
it's a saying like fire this team into the sun. They suck. You know.
Well, yes, they do.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
Tear it down. It's like, oh, that's so easy.
Right.
They
Were fired in the sun in July.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely. Can Hoagie add himself back in here?
Yes, he can.
He's got to be okay.
Yeah, he's the only one who. I mean, Casey's the only one who hasn't taken the 3 seconds to make him an.
So if we kick Casey out right now, he won't be able to let himself back in.
Make you guys cater to me. It's great.
Man, that sucks. Anyways, I think that next question comes from our buddy Mike here over at Father Daughters Talk Flyers. He goes and talking and says, I think right now I'm just really looking forward to seeing Cutter Gauthier at the World Juniors, and asks if any of us are going to be watching that tournament. So I'll refer to John here because he is our expert. I don't want to call him an expert.
No, please don't. Yeah. Please don't.
He's our prospect guy. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, I watch this thing religiously. I personally like it when it's in Europe because it's like that 1 week after Christmas where you can sit down with a cup of coffee and watch hockey in the morning. And there's nothing better to me. I mean, I'm not sure what Casey's doing, but Casey doesn't
I can think of a lot of things better than that, but
well, I mean, we can talk about that after we cut it, live.
Yeah, we'll
discuss. It's not in some Western Canadian place where it's like I got to stay up till 10 o'clock, which me is never going to happen. I love this time of year. I love the World Juniors. I'm excited that Cutter Gauthier is on the team.
It's the most wonderful time. Shut up, I'm doing it.
But I'll tell you a quick story. One year.
It's such a delay.
1 year, Carrie and I we had Christmas dinner with her family, and I got way too drunk. And I said to her, I was like, you know what? Tomorrow the World Juniors start. And she goes, okay, yeah, great. I was like, well, I just bought a brand new flat screen TV for the World Juniors. We got to go pick up in the morning. So we got like our first like big 60-inch flat screen TV to put on for the World Juniors. So I'm with the fellow who asked this question. I can't even remember who it was, but I really buy into this tournament, even if there's not a lot of Flyers involved. I think it's just a really cool international tournament, and you get a preview of kind of the future.
Sure. Hoagie, you've been following Russia. Yeah, without Russia. Whatever. They're lost. Hoagie, you've been following Gauthier a good bit because he's up your way. Are you
literally and figuratively?
Yeah, absolutely. I love World Juniors. That's my this time of year is my
Should
big.
You say absolutely.
I love World Juniors. Yeah, maybe I don't know, but Cutter, he's on fire. I love it. Let's go.
My God.
All right. How about Matt? We already got your answer, Matt.
But no, seriously, Casey, though, can you get into something like this, or if it's not NHL, you're not interested?
No, I only have so much time in the day, man. Like, my wife murders me for trying to watch 82 Flyers games a year. God forbid we make playoffs. But it's if I started watching junior hockey, my wife would be like, "You creep show. Stop watching 17-year-olds." And I'd be like,
it's a sport. They say that about college athletes that are 18, 19,
I mean, let me
years
just
old
watch gymnastics like a regular person. No, I will not be watching it. But like, hey, if that's your thing, do your thing. But like, nah, I don't care.
I'll be tuning in. I'm anxious to see it. We have I don't know if you want to call this a question here, but Mike L at Sticks and Pucks. Any chance you get Chuck Dave Torts on it to answer questions honestly? Otherwise, it's just a waste of time and nothing else to discuss matters.
No, there's no chance that they're going to be on our podcast.
No, absolutely
0%.
none. And it's not because they wouldn't come on; it's because we don't want them on.
No, and they wouldn't come on. Jim Jackson was our moment.
Jim Jackson was, yeah. And Jordan Hall on too. That was a good get. We had Mike. What's Mike's last name?
We've had.
Yes,
don't
but
ask me
like,
for his last name.
Who was the Sudbury Wolves?
Yes, the historian. Mike.
Yeah, the hockey historian.
Comito.
Mike Comito was on. I think he's on twice. Yeah, we had a great time with Mike. I mean, he was a fantastic guest.
But when
Jim
you have
Jackson
four
too.
people on a podcast, the
tough.
last thing we need is a freaking guest.
Yeah,
No.
so we're gonna have to do a Monday sometime when Hoagie's got beer league, so that.
all right, so theoretically, so if Chuck Fletcher, if like Flyers PR was like hey, we'd really love to have Chuck Fletcher on your podcast, we would absolutely say like, yes, bring it. Like bring
Oh yeah,
the noise.
I would grill that son of a bitch.
Yeah, Chuck, what it would be the Toby exit interview. It'd be like, what gives you the right? Who do you think you are?
Who do you think you are? Oh, it'd be fantastic. That would be fun. Oh, Clarky added, it's must-see TV up in Canada in regards to the juniors, which obviously that's, yeah. Next question that we have, let me scroll a little bit, comes from our buddy Johnny, who couldn't phrase the question correctly the first time, and Hoagie called him out on it because he's a dipshit. But the way his question is supposed to be read is that, is there any possible move that Chuck Fletcher could make this season in order for you to change your opinion about him?
Didn't we already answer this though?
Sort of, to an extent,
All right,
you could
all
say.
right, I'll shut up.
I can think of like a more like video game way of what's his name? Bo Horvat. If we could find a way to bring in Bo Horvat and trade Kevin Hayes in the process, where it's like,
Goodbye 2023 first. Christ.
Honestly, I think if you're realistically looking at this, there's nothing that Chuck Fletcher can do that's going to give us 100% confidence. I don't see the team doing enough for us to be like, this is the guy. But if he could somehow pull a move like maybe Bo Horvat or Brock Besser for Kevin Hayes, where it's like we're bringing in someone who we know we could bring, be a part of this team. And with Bo Horvat, you have to sign him to an extension. So maybe somebody like Brock Besser would be a more realistic situation. But it's like a move like that would make me go, okay, this guy wants to, this guy's going to continue to play ball. Like, let's keep him around for a little bit longer. But realistically, I can't see us leaving this season and going, yep, Chuck's our guy.
Yeah. No, I said it before. I don't think he makes it past Christmas, which I know we're close, but
4 days. More like 3 days.
48 hours.
Stand by. TikTok.
I think if Chuck is able to get max return on a JVR trade, I just vomiting mouth, and it like
max return,
like I don't know what
like
that is.
Chuck
Like,
max return or like standard max return.
Legit max
Somebody
return,
name Max.
Yeah, like we're gonna get Max Pacioretty. Like,
so let's assume that it like a 2023 first round is off the table, but could he get a 2024 first round for it? I don't know.
let's stockpile those picks. Yeah, cool.
I don't think he's getting anything that starts with for
Yeah,
Maybe we'll see.
unless there's a player whose name's Fernando or something.
I mean, I can think of one player he might have got a first round pick for. It's come the
and he
trade
signed him
deadline,
to an extension.
and he signed him to an extension.
Who is Rasmus Ristolainen?
Close, but no. I feel like we can make a whole episode out of that effing debacle.
I mean, yeah. No,
Yeah.
what happened to Hoagie? Does
I
anybody
think
know?
Hoagie just he literally
He's
renamed
gone.
himself in here to Hammered Slob.
No, I did that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he probably got upset with you and left. I can't blame him, you asshole.
Should we get him to the stream? There we go. Now he's there.
Oh, he's back. Hold on, it's frozen. He's back. Hold on. He's putting his headphones on.
He's throwing up. I bet you. Were you puking?
Did you throw up? Hoagie? Hoagie, can you hear us?
Yo.
Did you just throw up?
You puked, did you? Yes, you did.
Come on, man.
Nope. Took a piss.
Okay.
Gross.
All right. Well, we wrapped up the questions with Johnny's. John, you're such a dick. Why do you keep doing that to
Because
him?
it takes him about 10 minutes.
Oh, Christ. He's
right,
still trying to
let's
talk
wrap
right
it
now.
up.
Let's wrap it up. Yes. It's been an hour and 20 minutes. This is probably one of our longest episodes I think we've ever done. But since Hoagie's not in here, Matt Casey, can you let everybody know where they're going to be able to find you?
Hey, Pod Street Casey on Twitter.
Hoagie, make it fast. Where can they find you?
Passion host on the Twitter app.
Twitter app. Yeah. There we go. John, your spiel.
You can find this podcast on all your various podcast listening receptacles, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everything else. Yeah, there you go.
All right. You can find me on Twitter at PodStreetBob. John's on Twitter, PodStreetGob. You can find all four of us, I guess dipshits is the word for it, on Twitter at PodSTBullies. Mainly Hoagie, but regardless.
Yo.
Am I the one that's been like slamming Hoagie too much tonight? Usually it's John.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm sorry, Hoagie.
I don't like it.
Usually I got your side, man.
It's okay.
It's low-hanging
It's
fruit this week.
It's okay.
Anyways, check out our affiliates. You can find the fine gentleman over at the 5 Minute Major Podcast, David Mastro, there on Twitter at 5 Min Major Pod. Check out our fellas over at Flyers High and Wide. They're on Twitter at FlyersHW. Also, check out the Hockey Focus. Our guys over there, they're on Twitter at the Hockey Focus. That's been the holiday special for the Pod Street Bullies.
Wasn't that special?
You're
Right.
welcome, everyone. You're welcome.
Yes.
It's been,
Hope you all
been-
enjoyed.
it's
You're
really been your
welcome.
pleasure.
Hope your kids weren't listening.
Right.
And until next week, Merry Christmas to those of you that celebrate, and everything else. Enjoy the day off of work.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy